Okay, in this track we're going to take a look at some more technical aspects of playing. Actually, out of all the backing tracks that I played over, this was probably like the most fun, this one. I mean, this is around 180 BPM, it's in the key of B minor, which is, you know, next to A minor in C sharp minor or F sharp minor or something like that, is probably my favourite key to play in on guitar. So yeah, we're gonna take a look at some tapping stuff. This first lick is gonna look like this, and then we'll break it down. So here it is. Okay, so we've just got the pentatonic position again, like most of my stuff. It's going to be first position B minor pentatonic. Just cut the old toilet down a little bit. And then we're just going to be tapping the 14th fret on the high E string all the way down to the low E string, but we're going to be leading with the tapping note. Okay, so don't worry, this is going to be notated, so you can you know, have like a thing that's not moving in front of you to see where all the notes are going. And then ascending, we've just got okay, so when you combine both those two together, you should have something like this. Okay, that moves quite nicely into this next arpeggio section, tapping, which is going to look like this. Okay, so the left hand is going to be playing this. Which is 14-10 in the high E, 12-11 on the G, and 14-10 on the A. Okay, and we're just going to be tapping 15, 16, and 17 on the same strings. Okay, so yeah, you can do variations on that kind of shape, which is sort of good practice, really, practicing string skipping with tapping. Sometimes it can get awfully messy, but you know, as long as you kind of tap fairly hard and keep your left hand fairly strong, there's normally you know, very little problems that can happen apart from just building up your own coordination. So you might go wrong in the middle there, your brain might sort of fart and think, hang on a minute, there's too many notes going on here. But no, generally that's kind of what we're doing. So we're starting the reverse, and then moving up to this position. Which is just a pentatonic position, tapping on the 17th fret, 15 on a high E, 14, sorry, tapping 19, 17 and then 14 on the high E string. Then tap the same on the G string, 19, 16, 14, G. And we're tapping 21 on the A, pull off to 17, pull off to 14. you know, again, you can do different variations on that depending on how you're feeling. Yeah, I mean, it's not like a new shape or new technique by any stretch of the imagination. I suppose a lot of this stuff for me was probably influenced by a lot of like Tony McAlpine and Michael Romeo, that kind of stuff where they're extremely efficient and fluid tappers, and you know, this is sort of stuff that's inspired me to work on licks like that, and try and get them as clean and as precise as possible. But you know, like everything, there's always room for improvement, and I'm always trying to get as good as I can with different techniques and stuff like that, especially trying to join these sort of licks together, because if you can get them really fluid, they do sound pretty cool, and it's quite an enjoyable thing to be able to do, and you feel a good sense of achievement when being able to play stuff like this. So yeah, so we've got so that's quite a cool lick in itself, just repeating backwards and forwards. So you can practice that as like an isolated lick on its own. And yeah, so there's a few good tapping ideas there that you can string together and use hopefully in your own playing, or over the backing track, because all these backing tracks will be available as well to play over yourselves with the tab and everything, or you can come up with your own solos and try and use some of these ideas. I mean, learning for me, as I've said probably numerous occasions, that if I learn a new technique, I'll try and wangle it into some sort of new song that I'm doing. So, whenever I play that song, I have to revisit that technique all the time. So a lot of this stuff ends up staying in my brain. Okay, there's also some cool alternate picking stuff in here. I'm going to play this next sort of long run, if you like. I mean, it's technical, it's good for practicing alternate picking as well, but I felt that it fit pretty well over the backing track as well, so I just kind of kept on with it. So I'm going to play it now for you, and then we'll break it down. So here it is. Okay, so that picking is actually part of a set sort of pattern that sometimes I use to actually practice my alternate picking, which are just different shapes. So the first shape that I would probably practice picking is string skipping for this arpeggio shape. So all of these different shapes use that pattern. Then move into this next shape. Then I'm just going to isolate this one and just play the front end of that, although you can play the 15th, 14th and 12th fret on the B string as well, and it makes quite a cool pentatonic stroke 3-note string lick. Which is pretty much where we start the lick actually in the song. But so far this sort of practice alternate picking run starts, or should look like this so far. Okay, so that's my sort of practice routine that I would use for that picking. And then just practice going between the different positions and stuff like that. That's normally something that I would do to maybe warm up, get my syncing between my right and left hand. But slow, the actual lick that I played on the backing track should look like this. kind of screwed up the ending a little bit there, but again, when you slow some of this stuff down, you get a little bit tripped up. I'll try and play that a little bit faster and a bit cleaner for you. Okay, another part of this song, which features towards the end actually, practices on 2-note per string picking for pentatonic. And it starts way up on the 24th fret, so hopefully you've got a guitar which has got 24 frets. I mean, if not, you can start this from the 22nd fret. You would just use notes from the 1st and 5th position, but if you've got 24 frets, you can use notes from the 2nd position and 1st position, B minor. So it's a bit of a squeeze up there, but basically we're just taking the top 2 strings anyway and doing this kind of thing. And then moving it down through the position. Okay, and I'll try that just a little bit quicker. And up to speed. Okay, so that last run is just concentrating on using upstroke picking with the pentatonic scale. I mean, if you're having trouble, with that, you can just isolate one part of the pentatonic scale and just practice it until you get it down. Or, if you're already doing it the other way, down picking, alternate picking, then that's totally fine. Just for me, I try and point out that I am doing it the other way around. Okay, so hopefully you've got some cool ideas out of these backing tracks, and especially out of this one. As I said, this was like really fun for me to kind of jam over and just let rip, and then I'm just sharing some of my ideas and thoughts about improvisation and how to build guitar solos in a kind of rock metal context. So hopefully this really helps you out to build your own solos at home.